Today, we're doing a device review on Navii from Ossur. Navii is Ossur's new microprocessor knee, and it's been on the market for a little bit now. This is the second time I've been able to review it, and this time obviously taking it outside and being able to do some fun stuff on it. I really like this knee. I think that first, before we even get into the knee, it might be important to break down Ossur's tech and not necessarily others' tech, but what separates Ossur's tech and why they have selected certain things or why Ossur's knees operate the way they do. So first, let's start with Ossur's technology and the fact that Ossur is not a hydraulic knee. So there is no hydraulic piston in there. It has a fluid that has iron in it, and so this iron controls when the fluid moves faster or slower. I'm not necessarily sure on all of the exact tech, but I do know that that creates some advantages in certain situations. Like when I'm descending stairs or going down ramps, that's why this knee can support me longer, because it's not a hydraulic cylinder. At a certain point, a hydraulic cylinder cannot support you anymore. So when I'm sitting down in a chair on a hydraulic knee, once I get to 87 or 90 degrees, that hydraulic piston is just going to drop me, and now there's nothing supporting me anymore, so I fall into the chair. Whereas this knee, you could go down and even skip a stair as you're going downstairs, and this will support you the whole way because it can support you past 90 degrees even. And so that brings up the next point, which means that these knees are default swing, whereas most hydraulic knees are default stance. So if it goes into a dead mode or something happens, you trip and stumble, those types of things, it automatically goes to a high resistance. Whereas these knees are default swing, so it's looking to be active all the time and always moving. But the difference there is that when this knee is weighted and I am putting weight through it, it is actively resisting me all of the time. So it doesn't have like a flexion lock like a lot of other knees have, where I can flex it and then stand for 3 seconds and now it's locked. It doesn't have that. But it does, because it's always resisting me, if I sink my weight into it, it's not like fully locked, but it's actively resisting me, and we'll get into that into the video. And so I do like some of those things in certain situations. Again, it really helps for descending inclines and stairs and things like that, sitting down, all of those descending movements. It really helps support you a little bit longer and feel more comfortable. So with that, there are also no modes, because I can get into a little bit of a squat and a bend and those types of things, and it will support me. And then there's also manual lock. So you can, between the manual lock and the technology, it really works well to be a little bit of an intuitive experience, so that you don't have to be pulling out your app and switching into modes. You're just kind of going throughout your day and it's doing the things that you need it to do. Navii is IP68 and has a good cover that comes with it as well, that snaps onto the back with a magnet, so it's easy to get on and off. They also have that cover that comes in 5 different colors: black, white, blue, red, and green. I like the cover. I think at the bottom it could be maybe a little bit improved, but it's difficult because of the way that they attach their feet and everything else. It's kind of hard to seal that cover up around the bottom. So overall, I like the cover quite a bit. This knee does have a walk to run mode, an intuitive cycling, all of those things. There's just, again, you don't go into the app to switch to it. You just would start running, and after a step or two, it recognizes, oh, you're running. I'm not gonna do that in this video. I'm not a runner. Maybe one day down the road, I'll get out there, especially on the Terrafoot. That would be cool. Same with an adaptive cycling. So once you start pedaling, it recognizes that you're doing those rotations in it, and it starts releasing a little bit easier so that the knee isn't resisting you when you're cycling. I also do really like the experience through the Ossur Logic app. It's very easy to set up knees on the clinician side, or any of the Ossur devices on the clinician side, but then also on the patient side, there are some exercises in there that you can pull up and do at home, and it makes things easier to understand how your prosthetic is going to function in everyday life, and it also gives you things to work on and continue getting better at. Navii has a 72-hour battery life, and it also has a power button. I haven't really run out of battery on this thing yet, because I turn the battery off at night and then I plug it in every 2-3 days, and it does great for me. I also really like that all of the Ossur plugs are the same. So I know most people don't have a bunch of knees at their houses or feet, but it's nice to just be like, oh, there's my Ossur charger. I've got that. That is easy, and the power button is nice as well. Another quick thing I want to note before we get into walking and everything else, this knee is, Ossur alignment, and every other knee takes a specific alignment. So I have a very funky offset plate on here to make my socket adapt to Ossur alignment, because that really does make a difference. I've put on other Ossur knees and this knee for instance, where I just swap my socket with its alignment right over to it, and you feel a little bit of bobble and chatter. And then I have a lot of people ask me about Ossur products and they say, well, I felt this. And really, I don't think that that is an issue of the device itself. That is an alignment issue. And as soon as I get the alignment straightened out every time, then dang, all that stuff goes away and the knee feels very smooth and fast, and all those things. Now to some flat ground walking with Navii. I will be demoing it with the TerraFoot today. But I just wanted to show at the beginning, as always, how the knee walks, and I'm getting a little more comfortable with it on this gravel, but I am getting good stance knee flexion. Really, for like Ossur's specific alignment, I really need a little bit more flexion in my socket, but I don't have any bobbles in the knee or anything like that. So as I come through and land on the heel strike there, you can see I am still rotating over with my hips, so that is showing that I'm getting good stance knee flexion and getting that shock absorption, which Navii is great at doing. And Navii really has a lot of adaptability in your gait parameters through the Ossur Logic app. And the Ossur Logic app, like I said, is super intuitive and easy to use. So I do like those features that all work together to make it just more simple for the user. And then, like I was saying in the beginning, you don't have a flexion lock, but you do have a manual lock. So here I'm locked out at full extension. You see I can't bend it, and then I unlock it. Now I can bend. And Navii locks at 3 separate angles, and I honestly don't know what those specific angles are. It's honestly a little bit difficult to find those 3 angles, and like right there, so you find it, but then if you go back to extension, you're going to lock out at full extension, and that is kind of frustrating. But it is nice to have just a manual lock or a lock in general, because sometimes you do need that just to relax and rest, even with this being an active swing knee that is resisting you all the time. So like right here, as I get down into a squat, this knee is supporting me. You can see I'm pushing into it and I'm getting it to fight back against me, so I can actively squat down and have support back, which you wouldn't get on a hydraulic knee because it can't support you at those angles. So that really is the benefit of default swing. And now we're just getting into short steps. I always just like to show short steps because some knees can't release into swing on these short steps, and it can be really frustrating, especially in gravel and things like that. You end up scuffing your foot, kicking rocks all over the place. So this knee is great at releasing in short steps, long steps. It's really comfortable with anything that you want to do, which again just gives you more peace of mind and ease as you're going about your day. Moving on to inclines, we're ascending this kind of gravelly hill as well, and nothing crazy here, but you can just see the knee does get good extension. The clouds were nice that day, so I just wanted to shoot it, but it definitely feels comfortable walking uphill. I'm not doing any more or less work than on any other comparable MPK, so that's comfortable. But then here coming downhill, I really just slowed this down because this is a pretty steep hill, and you can see I'm really doing a step 2 cadence, which means I'm stepping far out with my prosthetic side and then stepping just to that step length with my sound limb. But really that is just because I am on this drastic of a hill. If I step past my prosthetic side with my sound limb, I'm going to start getting some really hard jamming in my groin and butt cheek, just really uncomfortable areas. And so the way to avoid that is really to just step 2 like this once you get onto these steeper inclines. But the knee really does a good job at supporting me the whole way down and feeling comfortable and safe, so that I don't do these inclines a lot because sometimes on different knees I don't feel quite as comfortable. So this is a really nice, comfortable way for me to get down a really steep incline. Sitting down, you get to just yield that resistance as well and ride it down. And now as we shift to going downstairs, I'm going to go back to Ossur design a little bit and that MR fluid, as it's called, and then just the default swing setting as well, because all of those things come into play and they go back to yielding down ramps and coming downstairs and everything else, which is what I like the most about this knee. But this knee is, again, not a hydraulic knee. It has a rotary design and then uses that MR fluid that has iron in it and moves back and forth. And so that allows it to support you longer than a normal hydraulic knee would. So that is really where you get the benefit here, is coming downstairs and things like that, because the knee, again, is supporting you past that 80, 75, 80, whatever degree angle it is, depending on the knee, that a hydraulic knee can provide support. Now this knee can provide that longer and at a higher flexion angle, giving you more support all the way until your other foot is making contact with the ground, and a more comfortable fluid landing. And then that default swing allows for, in those like just shuffle steps, little movements throughout the day, it is responding more like your normal leg would. It's helping you out and not giving you high resistance, which I know is kind of counterintuitive, but it's supporting you in a way that is more natural with your natural legs and how they would respond. So that's Navii. I really like this knee a lot. It is very comparable to knees that I walk on every single day. I like that it is obviously fully waterproof, even though I don't mess with water that much. Navii is modular, so it comes as a single piece, but then if something breaks, it would be easier, for your clinician to send it in, and then they could swap that one piece out and go repair that piece and then send you your knee back, or send you a device, a loaner device back a little bit faster. So really all that I'm bringing that up for is it should help on like lead times when you do need repairs or things like that. Should make a little bit more of a seamless process in getting that taken care of. I like the Stair ascending feature. I do wish that there was like a little bit more adaptability there through the app, maybe where I could adjust the angle that the foot ends at. But overall, I really like this knee a lot. I think that it is for that high K3, K4 user that wants function, wants all of those things that are in that 9.9 code, but maybe your insurance won't approve that 9.9 code. And so this is really a great option for that. If you would like more information about Navii, their website is linked in the description. If you have questions for me about Navii, how it compares to other knees, if it would be good for you, put them in the comments. I'll get back to you for sure. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Thank you.